You know that at the McNichols Company we are inspired to serve. And by now in your training you've been introduced to the most important concept, and that is the customer experience. We're not only seeking to be the best in class with our customer experience, we want to be in a class all by ourselves so that the value proposition to our customers, whether it's the first time they've called or the 100th time we've heard from them, they know that this is going to be an experience that will benefit them, help them achieve their business success. We also know in life that anything we learn to do well takes practice, doesn't it? I love to play golf, but if I don't practice very much, I'm not going to play very well. Or maybe you play a musical instrument and you've heard the old adage, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Well, you practice, practice, practice. Well, when it comes to customer complaints, it's important to practice how we're going to respond. At the McNichols Company, we've identified 8 steps. These 8 steps are the key to having a successful interaction with the customer when there's a complaint involved. Now, here's the first step. We want to listen to the customer. Don't be too quick to try to resolve the problem. It's been said that there's never a moment in life that we feel more valued than when we believe someone is really listening to us. So step number 1 means we listen and we empathize with the customer. We certainly don't blame anyone else. We might immediately recognize in their complaint that, well, it's the trucking company's fault, or maybe it was the vendor's fault, or maybe it was the customer's fault. But remember, at McNichols, as the professional salesperson, you want to own that complaint. It's a gift. You want to let the customer know that you're the right person that's going to help resolve that without ever casting blame on anyone else. So the first step's important. We want to accept that gift from the customer. We want to listen, and we want to empathize. Now, once the customer's had a chance to explain to us what the problem is, we want to thank them. That's right, thank them. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. If they're bringing to our attention something that is an internal problem with us, we want to know about it, don't we? We want to solve that problem now, so we thank the person for bringing the complaint to us, and we want to show them appreciation for it. We want them to feel as though they've done a good thing, that it's the best thing they could do for our relationship to bring that complaint to our attention. So we listen, we empathize, we show great thanksgiving and appreciation to them. Then we come to step 3. And step 3 is where we go one move beyond owning it. We actually apologize. Language like, I'm very sorry this happened. I regret this happened to you. So we apologize, and then very quickly in step 3, we're going to promise a resolution. We may not yet know what the resolution is, but we're going to make a commitment to the customer that they can expect us to resolve this. We're not going to put them off. We're not going to make them feel as though they're not being heard. We're going to apologize, and we're going to offer them a resolution. We're going to let them know that we're going to be working on this. Now, step number 4 means we have to get some information. We have to do some discovery with that customer. What do they want? How do they want this to be resolved? Be careful not to make an assumption that you know exactly how it should be resolved. The customer might surprise us. They may want a resolution that's different than what we're thinking about. So it's very important that you find out from the customer, how would you like for this complaint to be resolved? And then you've got to make a commitment to some action steps. Well, based on what you've told me, Ms. Customer, here are the steps I'm going to take immediately. That sets us up for number 5. Number 5 is that we do want to respond quickly. The customer has got their own timeline. They have their own business needs they're trying to meet. So we want to respond quickly, and we want to do that by setting a time frame for when they can expect to hear from us. Ideally, we can say to the customer, I'll be back with you in 30 minutes, or I'll be back with you before the end of the business day. So it's important that we make a commitment to how we're going to be following up, how quickly we're going to respond to them. And then it's equally important that we give the customer an update. Something occurs and we can't respond when we said we could. Something happens that we don't yet have the information. We want to make sure we're giving that customer an update. And all the research that's been done on customer complaints, the number one thing customers say they really want from a company when they're resolving a complaint is to be kept in the loop, to be communicated with. So whether we send them an email, call them back on the phone, or even visit their place of business, we want to keep them fully informed, updating them on how we're doing with the time frame for resolving what we've talked about. Now, the 6th step that we have to practice is this. We want to offer something that will surprise them. We want to give them some value-added service or even value-added product component that they weren't expecting. Now, we have to be careful. You'll want to work with your sales manager. This isn't something where we're giving away a margin. It's not something where we're giving away something that's going to drive up the cost of the product. But almost in every case, there's some small step we can take that the customer will view as value added. And that'll go a long way toward building that relationship. Remember, a complaint is a great opportunity to deepen our relationship with the customer. So we want to make sure that we offer them some sort of value add. Now, the seventh step is a reminder of a previous step. We want to follow up. Once we think the problem has been resolved, we've kept our time commitment, we've updated the customer, follow up. Make a note to yourself, I'm going to call back in 2 days or in 24 hours or next week, and I'm going to find out how's it going. Follow up to ensure that that customer has received satisfaction. Now notice what happens when we do that. We welcome the complaint as a gift. We listened, we thanked them, we apologized, we promised resolution, we set a time frame, we updated them, we resolved it, and now we're following up. Do you see what's happening? Our inspiration to serve that way sends the message to the customer, you want to do business with McNichols. Oh, most of the time it's perfect and there's not even a hiccup. But if there is a hiccup, this is the distributor, this is the company that you want to be engaged with when there's a hiccup. And then number 8, and this is equally important, make a note of the complaint. And working with your team and your manager, what can you do to make sure this doesn't happen in the future? Oh, there'll be some complaints that are very unique, but you'll discover after a while, once you've spoken with hundreds of customers with complaints, they all fall into some pretty predictable patterns, don't they? Don't keep that to yourself. Share that information so that not only in your branch, but in other branches, we can take the steps necessary to make sure that doesn't happen again. Anything in life worth doing is worth working at. And being able to handle a complaint effectively means that we have to practice. But practice doesn't make perfect unless you're practicing what works. These 8 steps are the standards in the McNichols Company for handling a complaint. These 8 steps will lead to success, and it'll mean that complaints you receive from customers actually become even more business. It's a gift when you get that complaint. Practice these steps so that you can follow them every time, and you'll be deepening your relationship with the customer because we truly are inspired to serve.